Welcome to At the Table,
where we are connecting entrepreneurs, discovering missions, and building communities with purpose, body, soul, mind, and business with
Charlie
and Heather.
with Women in Leadership.
Good morning and happy Monday.
Woo!
Welcome back to the table.
Woo!
You may have noticed we changed some things up. We added the weekly reading to the podcast thing. It's already everywhere that the podcast was, but we're starting a new season with the podcast. So we decided to start
numbering everything.
Like sequentially, so
Sunday,
it makes sense in our brains.
Sunday's weekly readings. Monday is
Mindset
Monday. Wednesday, social media, and Fridays are interviews and special guests and different things.
So we're still bringing it all the same to you, but it just looks a little different on paper. All right, so don't freak out.
We put it together so it's easier for us on the back end for flow, and it's really exciting.
It is. Yeah. We learn and grow all the time, and we always like to make systematic and graphical quarterly updates. So here soon, you guys will also have music in the background. We're working on that.
Yay! I'm so excited. What a great partnership with the community. I'm very excited.
Yes, I love being able to use local artists and friends and neighbors for different things for our podcast. It's awesome.
Local helping local, love it.
So this week we are on chapter 7 of The Secret Power of Yoga and book 2, chapter 7, Secret Power of Yoga, and chapter 14 of Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life. And
in The Secret Power of Yoga, we're talking about the niyamas, which is evolution towards harmony. And in You Can Heal Your Life, we're talking about the body. I'm like, ooh, it's gonna get good, y'all. Who doesn't want more harmony in their body?
Right.
I'm like, ooh, we're bringing it this week. Okay, here we go.
So we've been talking about Ashtanga Yoga being the 8-limbed path, right? So the 5 inner facets of the Ashtanga Yoga are the niyamas, which we are talking about this week. And these are like the personal practices of yoga, which is pretty cool.
I like this one.
So the sutras this week are translated as: through simplicity and continual refinement, Saucha, the body, thoughts, and emotions become clear reflections of the self within. Saucha reveals our joyful nature, and the yearning for knowing the self blossoms. And we are actually going to talk about joy in our joyful nature in the other book this week. So it's pretty cool. When at peace and content with oneself and others, Santosha, supreme joy is celebrated.
When we are at peace or content with oneself and others is Santosha. Okay, which is supreme joy. Supreme joy is celebrated. So when we're
Santosha
at
peace and contentment.
Peace and contentment. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Saucha is refinement, right? You're always working towards self-growth, right? Which is what we do every day here, Women in Leadership. And then Saucha is Santosha is peace and contentment. Okay, living life with zeal and sincerity, the purifying flame ignited is tapas, revealing the inner light. That's your passion, right?
I hear the flame torch.
Right?
Let's get that sucker fired up.
Sacred study of the divine through scripture, nature, and introspection, Svadvaya, guides us to the supreme self. So that's like that mental practice, that mental growth, right? And that, spiritual growth. Through wholehearted dedication, Ishvara Pranadhana, we become intoxicated with the divine. So that's that wholehearted dedication piece.
Is Pranadhana, is that like part of breathing? When we break that word up a little?
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Pranadhana is
through the wholehearted dedication, we become intoxicated with the divine.
You breathe
I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." When I look at how that word
And it
is.
brings you back to like if you grew up with the Bible, it's like Jesus said, I am the breath of life. You know, God breathed the word.
Ooh,
Right?
power.
It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So we talked a lot about our joyful nature and the inner like blossoming, which is
Because if you're doing these 5 things,
uh-huh.
right, and you're going to create more joy.
You're going to create more joy in
There's no way around it. If you're doing the do, that's what's going to happen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She talks a little bit about how it's important to spend time in natures, and many cultures around the world have rituals around spending time in nature to gain that introspection and just bring harmony within oneself, and how like I mean everything's connected. So
That's awesome. It just reminded me of in the spring, if it was nice on Easter Sunday, we would try to have Easter Sunday morning service outside, even though it might be brisk, but if it was nice and not raining, like reconnecting with nature, like, wow, okay,
yeah,
cool. I can see the pieces, right?
yeah. And the section not so obvious simplicity, to me it felt like a reminder to keep things simple. And the for instance, she used a story in here about how when we were putting people in space, there was this issue with pens not working because of gravity, right?
Oh.
So where America spent millions of dollars inventing a pen that worked with gravity,
Without gravity,
the Russians used a pencil. Problem solved.
I guess we take pencils.
Right. But
right.
It was for their logbooks and stuff, and there's a lot of legal reasons in the United States why they use pen and things like that.
Right.
But it's like, come on, guys, you could have used a pencil.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Oh man. So I thought that
I
was
suppose now
funny
that
story.
they type them up and they just go into
Mm-hmm.
cyberspace with the space people.
Yeah, so it's just a reminder to keep things simple. There's a really great practice in here, experiencing the power of purity and simplicity, satcha, and taking things that you possess around you. And we're all talking about spring cleaning and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, and looking at that item and being like, is this still serving me now? Like, do you have clothing items in your closet that don't fit? Why are you holding on to these things? And just letting go of the things to create space. We talked about this on Friday for new things to come in. So
nice.
I thought that was
I
pretty
love
cool.
it
Brings it back around. Joy is accepting what is. Having joy doesn't necessarily mean I'm happy and I'm feeling glad, right? It's not.
I got sunshine
in a bed, right? So it's not about being happy. It's about being content. Because when you're content, does that feel like joy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right? Yeah, because you are enough. You have enough. Everything is
So when you go outside into nature and you ground and you find that contentment, there's your joy.
And Marie Kondo talks about sparking joy, right?
Yeah.
And what are you doing when you spark joy in the things? Like, are these things sparking joy in you? Because if they're still serving you in some way, they'll spark some sort of joy.
Right.
If they're not, that's when you like clear it out, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Make way.
So tapas is defined as service, physical purity, living in virtue, moderation, and reverence for all.
I like this. A tapas mind is distinguished and tranquil, gentle, kind, and quiet, and invokes willpower and purity of thought.
Mhm.
Not invokes, involves.
Mhm.
But thinking about that, like coming from, finding your passion and feeling that energy in a calm, tranquil.
Mhm.
I like that.
This one, Tapas's speech is experienced as truthful, pleasant, serene, beneficial prayer, and japa, which is a repetition of a mantra.
Because
Pretty cool.
the japa creates the vibration of all these things.
Mhm.
So that's why they use them.
Mhm.
That's cool.
The next piece she shares in here is really a story of Maya Angelou. Her son was, I'm not sure what happened. It doesn't say. I'm assuming he was injured. She was told to get to the hospital right away. He was in a coma, and she affirmatively prayed, God, I am thanking you in advance for the full recovery of my son. And she kept this positive thoughts. She would only let doctors and nurses and visitors into his room if they were conveying positive thoughts in his direction, because she wasn't going to give up on her son, and she believed wholeheartedly that her son would have a full recovery, and he eventually did, which is really cool. But she kept that mantra going incessantly over and over all day long. Other people would come and pray with her and go, and she would just keep going. And she believed, and her son was better. Like, it's pretty
That's
awesome.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's so much better than going to the dark place, and then you have that eventual guilt and shame did I contribute to the downfall when we have those scary thoughts.
Yeah. There's really, really, really so much in this chapter this week, you guys. But I think this is a really good place to switch books and go over to chapter 14 of You Can Heal Your Life with Louise Hay, because we are talking about the body this week.
I listen with love to my body's messages. Ooh, that gave me goosebumps. I uncrossed my legs there. I listen with love to my body's messages.
I like how she, this first paragraph she has here. I believe we create every so-called illness in our body. The body, like everything else in life, is a mirror of our inner thoughts and beliefs. The body is always talking to us if we will only take the time to listen. Every cell within your body responds to every single thought you think and every word you speak.
Every single thought you think, every word you speak.
Your body listens. The cells in your body listen to that. And that's basically what she talks about through this entire chapter, is different diseases. Think about that word, disease. It's dis-ease or not at ease. So when you are at ease, you are without dis-ease. Right? And she uses the example of elderly people with wrinkles and things like that. Are they wrinkles from smiling? Or are they wrinkles from being angry? Right? They're different wrinkles.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So the more you're like, my mom used to say, you make that face too long, it's gonna get stuck that way, right?
Right. We all heard that, I think.
So what face do you want to be stuck with?
I know.
Think about those wrinkles. I thought that was pretty funny, actually. That's what that brought up for me.
That is funny.
So
okay, that sound was me making a funny face if you're listening. Gotta have the sound effect with the funny face.
A couple of the examples they use in here. The arms. You have something wrong with your arms. The arms represent our ability and capacity to embrace the experiences of life. The upper arms have to do with our capacity, and the lower arms have to do with our abilities. We store old emotions in our joints, and the elbows represent our flexibility in changing directions. Are you flexible about a changing direction in your life, or are old emotions keeping you stuck in one spot?
Dude. Right?
Right.
Like so this philosophy that she has, like you knew this was coming, right? You guys, when we read the philosophy in the beginning of the book, right? You had to know that she was going to walk us all the way to here, right? That she was going to say, hey, you got to deal with your own crap
together.
Right?
I found this one pretty funny. The fingers have meaning. Problems in the fingers show where you need to relax and let go. If you cut your index finger, there's probably anger and fear that has to do with your ego in some current situation. The thumb is mental and represents worry. The index finger is the ego and fear you're pointing.
Oh, wow.
Right? The thumb, let's see here. If you cut your index finger, probably anger and fear that has to do with your ego. How many times have you cut yourself in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah.
9 times out of 10, I bet you were mad about something.
Wow. Well,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's usually why you're not paying attention too, right?
Yep. The thumb is mental and represents worry. What do we do when we're kids and we're worrying?
Oh, wow.
Right.
Interesting.
The index finger is ego and fear. The middle finger has to do with sex and anger. Freak you, man.
Epic, right?
When you're angry, hold your middle finger and watch the anger dissolve. So just grab your middle finger with the other hand and just give it a squeeze.
Oh, I can't wait to try
Right?
this.
Okay. Hold the right finger if your anger is at a man, and the left if it is a woman.
Interesting. Oh,
the ring finger is both unions and grief.
Yeah,
which
cut their nails.
I mean, we wear our wedding bands on our ring fingers, right?
Unions and grief.
Unions and grief. Oh. Right? I was like, this makes so much sense. The little finger has to do with the family and pretending. The pinky promise.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? With this little piggy. I thought that was really cool. I also found the section about the back really interesting.
Why would that be? Because a lot of us have some crazy, weird back stuff going on.
Yep.
I like the representing our support system. Like our spine supports us, but it's also our support system around us if it's not strong.
She talks about stomach digestion. She talks about all kinds of different things. Go back and listen to the part about the genitals, you guys. That was pretty interesting. And it has a lot to do with the society's placement of guilt and shame on our sex organs and how that affects our bladder, our anus, our vaginas, our prostates, our penises,
all of them,
all the parts. So
the colon.
Yeah. The section about sexual organs and all that is actually pretty long. But I mean, when you read through this, you're like, well, that's interesting.
So she kind of makes sense through like all of the areas in the body, and then she starts breaking it down by different things that could be going on.
Exactly.
And kind of starts with an A and goes on and on. We're not to the on and on, but as in later, there's a whole list of affirmations.
The last one I want to talk about before we wrap it up is the accidents. There are no accidents. Like everything else in our lives, we create them. It's not that we necessarily say, I want to have an accident. But we do have the mental thought patterns that can attract an accident to us. Some people seem to be accident prone, and others go for a lifetime without ever getting a scratch. Accidents are an expression of anger.
Ooh.
They indicate built up frustrations resulting from not feeling the freedom to speak up for oneself. Accidents also indicate rebellion against authority. We get so mad we want to hit people, and instead we get hit. When we are angry at ourselves, we feel guilty, and when we feel the need for punishment, the accident is a marvelous way of taking care of that.
Crap land.
And have you ever woken up in a bad mood one day and then everything went wrong? Same idea.
So
You're like, oh, this day's horrible. Guess what? Your day's going to be horrible.
it's what you're focusing on.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just really need to take that time to go ground out whatever is causing you to sit
Mhm.
there in that moment.
Mhm.
But I do like the way that she ends up the chapter.
Mhm.
And the next week starts the list. So does that mean we're starting a new book soon?
There's a couple more chapters left
after the list.
after the list. So we're going to skip the list in the weekly reading and we're going to go straight to the next chapter. But I do encourage you to pick up your copy and go through the list.
There's the
like
list.
the list of different like ailments and
So I opened up to nail biting, which could represent frustration, eating always at the self, spite of a parent. It is safe for me to grow up. I now handle my own life with joy and with ease.
Mhm.
So, she breaks down like an issue and then she gives you affirmations to help you reprogram yourself.
Mhm. I will actually
For
look
lack of a
at
better
our recording schedule because I might be able to cover some of those. But you guys, it's like 50 pages, so I'm not going to do all of them. But we will wrap up today with a reading of today's affirmation, and we've got a new toy. So with our document camera, you're able to follow along as we read this together.
If you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Stay safe.
Let's take a couple deep breaths. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I recognize my body as a good friend. Each cell in my body has divine intelligence. Okay. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I recognize my body as a good friend. Each cell in my body has divine intelligence. I listen to what it tells me and know that its advice is valid. I am always safe and divinely protected and guided. I choose to be healthy and free. All is well in my world. Thank you for joining us for this week's Mindset Monday.
Mindset Monday, Monday.
And
stay tuned for the new cause of the quarter.
woo!
We take the mystery and pain out of social media consistency for your business, giving you back time to shine in your zone of genius. Social media is the new branding. It deserves its own attention, thought, and effort. Yet so few businesses actually take this seriously and invest enough time on their strategy. We can do it for you at an affordable rate that will fit into your budget and allow you to pursue other revenue channels as well. The hardest part of social media management is keeping up the consistency to be seen and know what to post, when to post. Are you ready to have everything ready to go for you saving you time and energy by not having to do it all yourself, still getting your message out so that people get to know you, like you, and develop trust while opening yourself up to more time for the business of your business where you shine. Working with women in leadership, BSMB LLP is a unique experience that bridges the gap from face-to-face to virtual relationship marketing. Not only do we love to help you shine on social media, we love to share tools to help you grow with us, body, soul, mind, and business. Check out our podcast and YouTube channel for Mindset Mondays, Social Media Training Wednesdays, business interviews and special topics on Fridays, and weekly readings on Sundays. To schedule your consultation or podcast interview, head to our website, www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get our weekly readings on Sunday, our podcast, Mindset Monday, Social Media Training with Heather on Wednesdays with a live Q&A, and guest interviews and special topics on Fridays. Thank you for joining us. Find out more and schedule with us online at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com, where you have a spot at the table. Thank you for joining in on the fun. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.